Steven Seagal, an action movie legend or a man cloaked in controversy? From Hollywood blockbusters to shocking scandals, his life story is anything but ordinary. A master of Aikido, an environmental activist, a musician, and a figure entangled in political intrigue, Steven Seagal is a name that sparks fascination and debate. But how did he rise to fame, and why has his legacy become so polarizing? Today we're diving deep into the highs and lows of his career to uncover the man behind the myth. Let's begin. Describing Steven Seagal as a man of contradictions barely scratches the surface of the complexities and controversies surrounding his persona. On one hand, Seagal has publicly portrayed himself as a devout Buddhist, someone committed to spiritual growth and harmony. He is also directed and starred in films that explore ecological themes, reflecting an apparent concern for the environment. Adding to this seemingly altruistic image, he has been recognized by PETA with a humanitarian award for his contributions to animal welfare, cementing his reputation as a man with a compassionate side. However, this polished exterior stands in stark contrast to a troubling history of behavior that paints a very different picture. Behind the scenes, Seagal's conduct has been the subject of intense criticism. He has a well-documented history of clashes with colleagues in the entertainment industry, ranging from heated verbal disputes to physical altercations. Stuntmen, co-stars, and even directors have reported injuries and confrontations stemming from Seagal's aggressive tendencies. Yet, the most disturbing accusations concern his treatment of women, which has been described by many as outright deplorable. Numerous women, including Portia de Rossi, Juliana Margulies, Jenny McCarthy, and Lisa Guerrero, have shared unsettling stories about their interactions with Seagal. Each of them auditioned for roles in his projects, and their experiences reveal a chilling pattern of inappropriate behavior that goes beyond the bounds of professional conduct. These allegations will be explored in greater detail, shedding light on the darker side of Steven Seagal's legacy. Steven Seagal was born on April 10th, 1952, in Lansing, Michigan. His early years were unremarkable, but a significant shift in his personality occurred after his family relocated to California when he was 5 years old. According to his parents, Seagal became increasingly introverted, spending hours alone in the garage. There, he would immerse himself in rock music, blaring it from the speakers, creating a stark contrast to the outgoing demeanor one might expect from a child his age. As Seagal progressed through his academic journey, he enrolled at Fullerton College. During this time, a chance encounter at a local dojo marked a pivotal turning point in his life. Initially drawn by a budding interest in martial arts, Seagal began frequenting the dojo, where he formed a connection with an older Japanese instructor who recognized his potential and took him under his wing. Under this mentorship, Seagal's passion for martial arts deepened, and his ambition led him to make a bold decision in the early 1970s, to move to Japan, a place steeped in martial arts tradition. While Seagal's exact activities during his time in Japan remain somewhat ambiguous, what is clear is that the experience profoundly transformed him. Upon his return to the United States, Seagal exhibited a newfound confidence and determination. During this period, he met Makako Fujitani, a highly skilled martial artist who held a second-degree black belt in Aikido. Their shared passion for martial arts formed the foundation of their relationship, and their bond quickly grew into a deep romantic connection. However, their happiness was soon interrupted when Fujitani had to return to her native Japan. Faced with a difficult decision, Seagal chose not to part ways with the woman he loved. Instead, he followed her back to Japan, demonstrating his commitment to both her and the life they were building together. Once reunited, their relationship culminated in marriage in 1975, and they welcomed 2 children shortly thereafter. Yet for reasons that remain unclear, Seagal abruptly left Japan and returned to the United States, a decision that would set the stage for the next chapter of his life. Steven Seagal's sudden return to the United States marked a dramatic shift in both his personal and professional life. Leaving his wife and children behind in Japan, Seagal seemed to sever ties with the life he had built there. Once back in the U.S., he established a dojo in Hollywood, immersing himself in the martial arts scene and gaining a reputation as a skilled instructor. However, his personal life took a questionable turn. Acting as if his marriage in Japan had ceased to exist, Seagal began a romantic relationship with soap opera actress Adrienne LaRussa. The pair moved quickly, tying the knot in 1984. Yet, there was one glaring issue. Seagal was still legally married to Mikako Fujitani. The situation soon unraveled when the truth about his existing marriage came to light. What Seagal may have hoped would remain unnoticed, perhaps believing the old adage that what happens in Japan stays in Japan, proved to be a miscalculation. His marriage to LaRussa had to be annulled, leaving a blemish on his personal life and raising questions about his integrity. Despite these complications, Seagal's professional life was about to take an unexpected turn. Among the students at his dojo was Michael Ovitz, a powerful Hollywood agent known for his ability to spot untapped talent. Ovitz, with his belief that anyone could be transformed into a movie star with the right guidance, saw potential in Seagal. He encouraged Seagal to pursue a career in acting and connected him with an opportunity that would change his life. Warner Brothers had a script in their vault originally intended for Clint Eastwood, but Seagal managed to make it his own. Not only did he secure the leading role, but the studio also gave him creative input, allowing him to rewrite parts of the script to align with his martial arts expertise. He renamed the film Above the Law, and the studio incorporated elements of Seagal's own background into the character's story. In addition to acting, Seagal choreographed all the film's fight scenes, showcasing his skill in Aikido. This project launched Seagal into Hollywood, transforming him from a dojo owner into an emerging action star. Steven Seagal's transition from dojo owner to a full-fledged Hollywood figure was nothing short of meteoric. Beyond starring in his debut film, Above the Law, Seagal also contributed as its choreographer and scriptwriter, ensuring that his martial arts expertise was showcased in every action sequence. The studio even granted him a co-producer credit, a rarity for a first-time actor. Michael Ovitz's confidence in Seagal's star potential seemed to pay off. The martial artist was quickly becoming one of Hollywood's rising stars. His blend of physicality and charisma made him a sought-after figure, both on and off the screen. As his Hollywood career gained momentum, Seagal turned his attention to his personal life. Having already become a high-profile figure, he sought a partner who matched his newfound celebrity status. Kelly LeBrock, a model and actress hailed as a quintessential fantasy woman of the era, caught his eye. Seagal's charm proved effective, and the two began a whirlwind romance. This time, however, Seagal did not repeat his previous mistake of ignoring his marital status. Before committing to LeBrock, he finalized his divorce from Mikako Fujitani, ending their chapter officially. In 1987, Seagal and LeBrock tied the knot, solidifying their status as a glamorous Hollywood couple. Meanwhile, Seagal continued to build on the modest commercial success of Above the Law. Although the film didn't win over critics, its box office performance was promising enough for Warner Brothers to greenlight his next project, Hard to Kill. This film marked a personal milestone for Seagal, as he convinced LeBrock to come out of early retirement to star alongside him. However, her participation didn't signal her endorsement of the project. She later quipped that the film's appropriate nickname should have been Hard to Watch. As Siegel's fame grew, so did the scrutiny surrounding his larger-than-life persona. He claimed to have connections to the CIA, a declaration that piqued Warner Brothers' interest and prompted them to investigate. Their thorough background check, however, yielded no evidence of such ties. Instead, it painted a picture of Siegel as an enigmatic figure prone to embellishment. While his martial arts skills were undeniable, the legend he was building around himself increasingly drew skepticism from those around him. Despite Siegel's claims of having a connection with the CIA, the studio's investigation revealed no evidence to support these assertions. However, the inquiry unearthed something equally concerning. Siegel had ties to several dubious individuals. While these relationships didn't immediately impact his career, they cast a shadow over his growing fame and would later resurface in troubling ways. The illusion of Siegel as a covert operative began to crumble, but one aspect of his larger-than-life persona remained very real: his penchant for being heavily armed. Siegel was known to carry firearms almost everywhere he went, a habit that added an air of danger to his already intimidating presence. He often wore coats with extended lengths, specifically tailored to conceal the weapons he carried. Even his tuxedo for the Oscars was modified to hide 2 large pistols, further feeding his mystique as a man who blurred the lines between reality and action film fantasy. Amid this blend of myth-making and controversy, Siegel's next film, Marked for Death, followed the naming convention of his previous projects with a 3-word title. The movie aimed to solidify his brand as a hard-hitting action star. An unexpected twist in this film was Siegel's collaboration with reggae artist Jimmy Cliff, with whom he performed a song. Despite this unusual addition, the film was firmly rooted in the action genre. Its extreme violence, both on screen and behind the scenes, attracted attention. The National Coalition on Television singled it out as one of the most violent movies of the year, a label that did little to tarnish its appeal to fans of high-octane cinema. However, the chaos wasn't confined to what audiences saw on the screen. Behind the camera, tensions ran high, and Siegel's infamous temper and bravado often led to confrontations. On the set of Marked for Death, his bold claims about his martial arts prowess once again invited trouble, setting the stage for more off-screen drama. On the set of Marked for Death, Siegel's ego led him into an embarrassing situation. He often boasted about his extensive training in Aikido, claiming that his skills made it impossible for anyone to knock him out. This caught the attention of the stunt coordinator, who decided to put Siegel's claim to the test. Confident in his abilities, Siegel agreed to let the coordinator attempt to incapacitate him. Unfortunately for Siegel, things did not go as planned. Within moments, the stunt coordinator managed to render him unconscious, leaving the actor's bold claims in tatters and providing plenty of fodder for behind-the-scenes gossip. Following this incident, Siegel moved on to his next project, Out for Justice. However, the controversy surrounding him only deepened during the production of this film. This time, the drama was not confined to physical stunts or boastful challenges. 4 women working as office assistants on the set accused Siegel of sexual harassment. The allegations were serious enough to lead to financial settlements, with Siegel reportedly paying off 3 of the women to prevent legal action. Around the same time, 4 actresses also came forward with unsettling accounts of inappropriate behavior during casting sessions. According to their claims, Siegel explicitly implied that sexual favors would secure them roles in his films, further tarnishing his reputation. As these controversies swirled, Siegel decided to step away from action films momentarily and try something different. He took on the role of guest host for Saturday Night Live, SNL, attempting to show a lighter side of himself. However, this venture turned out to be a disaster. Comedy required a self-awareness and humility that Siegel seemed to lack entirely. His humor fell flat, and his interactions with the writers and cast were marked by tension and arrogance. After the episode aired, SNL producer Lorne Michaels famously referred to Siegel as the worst host ever, a sentiment echoed by cast members Tim Meadows and David Spade. Unsurprisingly, Siegel was never invited back, and his attempt to branch out into comedy only added another blemish to his public image. At this point in Steven Siegel's career, he was looking to expand beyond traditional action films and take on projects with more depth. This shift began with Under Siege, a film that marked a departure from his usual formula. Unlike his previous works, Under Siege was not just a straightforward action movie. It featured a more serious tone and boasted an impressive supporting cast, which elevated the overall production. In an unexpected move, Siegel even cut off his iconic ponytail, a trademark of his image, signaling his commitment to the role. The film received a positive reception from critics, a rarity for Siegel, and achieved a level of critical acclaim he had not previously experienced. It garnered 2 Academy Award nominations, albeit in technical categories rather than for acting. For Siegel, this taste of critical success was a turning point. It showed him that he could reach beyond his niche and create films that resonated on a broader level. Encouraged by this experience, he sought to combine his passion for environmental issues with his film career. This ambition led to the creation of On Deadly Ground, an eco-conscious action film that Siegel directed, produced, and starred in, a project that he viewed as deeply personal. The film was intended to spotlight his concerns about environmental degradation, while still delivering the kind of action sequences his audience expected. However, despite Siegel's passion for the subject matter, the film was a critical disaster. It was not only panned by reviewers, but also earned a spot on film critic Gene Siskel's list of the worst movies of the year. The failure of On Deadly Ground was a harsh blow, revealing the limitations of Siegel's storytelling and directorial abilities. In response to this setback, Siegel attempted to revisit the success of Under Siege by reprising his role in the sequel, Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. Unfortunately, the magic of the original did not carry over to the follow-up. The sequel was both a critical and commercial disappointment. To make matters worse, the physical demands of the role highlighted Siegel's declining fitness, leading to the now heavy actor wearing a girdle during filming. This marked a low point in his career, as his once promising foray into more serious films seemed to collapse under the weight of poor execution and diminishing appeal. Steven Siegel's career in the late 1990s and early 2000s was marked by a string of controversies, professional missteps, and a deteriorating reputation. One of the notable low points was during the casting for Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. Jenny McCarthy, who auditioned for a role in the film, later revealed a disturbing incident where Siegel requested she perform her audition unclothed. The role itself had no such requirement, and McCarthy, realizing the impropriety, stormed out. Predictably, she did not land the part. Another actress who did make the cast, however, was 16-year-old Katherine Heigl. On the last day of filming, Heigl reported that Siegel made an unsettling comment about dating girls her age, further cementing his reputation for inappropriate behavior. The discomfort continued off set, with Siegel publicly grabbing Heigl's chest during a promotional event, laughing it off as though it were a joke. Siegel's next major project was Executive Decision, 1996, where he co-starred with Kurt Russell. Once again, his behavior on set drew criticism. He reportedly claimed to be the boss of the film, which led to a tense exchange with co-star John Leguizamo. When Leguizamo laughed at Siegel's assertion, Siegel reacted with violence, using his Aikido skills to slam Leguizamo into a wall. This kind of volatility, both professional and personal, made Seagal increasingly difficult to work with. In an attempt to reignite his career, Seagal turned to Fire Down Below, 1997, a return to environmental action films. However, the movie was a critical and commercial disaster. It received 4 Razzie Award nominations, including Worst Picture and Worst Actor, further tarnishing Seagal's already faltering reputation. Warner Brothers, recognizing that his star power was fading, decided to end their collaboration with him. Before parting ways, they gave him one last opportunity with the 2001 film Exit Wounds. This production also carried its share of drama. A pivotal fight scene was scheduled between Seagal and martial artist Michael Jai White. Interestingly, the director intentionally saved the sequence for the final day of filming, reportedly to allow White to beat up Seagal on screen. White later admitted that he sensed the director's intentions and observed Seagal's unusual hesitation during the shoot. Ultimately, White chose to pull his punches, avoiding what could have been a major on-set clash. Outside of his films, Seagal's personal and business relationships began to crumble. His friendship and business partnership with Julius Nasso ended in 2000 when Nasso accused Seagal of owing him $3 million. Nasso allegedly sought assistance from a crime family to pressure Seagal for payment, a situation reminiscent of one of Seagal's action films. Instead of resorting to physical confrontation, Seagal took the matter to court, testifying against Nasso, who was later convicted of extortion. Nasso retaliated with a $60 million lawsuit, but it was eventually dropped after the two settled out of court. Seagal's career spiraled further downward, with a string of forgettable straight-to-video films, such as Special Ops and The Perfect Weapon. Alongside his failing movies, Seagal's physical appearance became a point of ridicule. Warner Brothers reportedly pushed him to lose weight, but rumors circulated that he snuck cookies during gym sessions rather than focusing on fitness. During this period of declining success in film, Steven Seagal sought to explore other avenues, including music. He released 2 studio albums, Songs from the Crystal Cave, 2005, and Mojo Priest, 2006, showcasing his skills as a guitarist and blues vocalist. Songs from the Crystal Cave featured a mix of musical styles, blending blues, reggae, and pop influences, while Mojo Priest leaned more heavily into traditional blues. Though his guitar playing received some praise, Seagal's music career failed to achieve significant commercial success. The albums were met with lukewarm reception and were often seen as an attempt to revitalize his public image amid the decline of his film career. Despite this, Seagal continued to perform at small venues and music events, suggesting that his foray into music was driven by genuine passion rather than purely commercial ambition. Attempting to pivot away from film, Seagal capitalized on an honorary law enforcement title he had received in the 1980s after teaching martial arts to deputies in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. This became the basis for his A&E reality show, Steven Seagal, Lawman. While the show initially attracted some interest, it couldn't overshadow the growing number of allegations against him. In 2017, actress Portia de Rossi accused Seagal of inappropriate behavior during a casting session, tweeting that he unzipped his pants in an attempt to test their chemistry. In 2018, Regina Simons alleged that Seagal had invited her to a supposed rap party for On Deadly Ground, only for her to find herself alone with him, where he allegedly assaulted her. Juliana Margulies also recounted a chilling story of being invited to rehearse lines in Seagal's hotel room, only to find herself alone with him and armed. She quickly left, refusing any further meetings. Other troubling stories emerged, including an incident with Inside Edition reporter Lisa Guerrero, who was invited to audition at Siegel's home. Upon arrival, she found him wearing only a bathrobe. Although the audition proceeded without incident, Guerrero later learned that securing the role would require a private rehearsal at his mansion, a condition she refused. By this point, Siegel's career in Hollywood was effectively over. Yet, he found a surprising ally in Russian President Vladimir Putin. In 2016, Putin granted Siegel Russian citizenship, and 2 years later, named him an official representative between Russia and the United States. This alliance, while unexpected, only added to the polarizing nature of Siegel's legacy. Faced with a steady decline in his career and mounting controversies, Siegel seemed to adopt a strategy of doubling down on his persona rather than addressing the criticisms head-on. While many celebrities in similar situations might issue public apologies or take steps to rehabilitate their image, Siegel rarely acknowledged the allegations against him. Instead, he maintained a steadfast belief in his own narrative, often dismissing his critics as uninformed or malicious. In interviews, Siegel frequently emphasized his accomplishments in martial arts, film, and even law enforcement, presenting himself as a multifaceted figure who defied conventional categorization. This approach allowed him to retain a loyal, albeit smaller, fan base that admired his self-confidence and larger-than-life persona. However, it also alienated others who viewed his refusal to engage with his controversies as arrogance or a lack of accountability. Additionally, Siegel leaned heavily into his association with Russia and Vladimir Putin, cultivating an image of himself as an international figure unbothered by the judgment of Hollywood or the West. He often appeared in Russian media, endorsing political initiatives and attending public events. While this alliance earned him support in some circles, it further polarized public opinion in the U.S. and Europe, particularly during periods of heightened geopolitical tension. A few years after Steven Siegel received Russian citizenship and formed a controversial alliance with Vladimir Putin, global events put their friendship under intense scrutiny. When Russia invaded Ukraine, the international community, including most Americans, reacted with outrage. The invasion sparked widespread condemnation, boycotts, and protests against Russia and its leadership. Putin, once a powerful and commanding figure, became one of the most reviled leaders in the world. For Siegel, this created a difficult situation: align with the overwhelming majority of his home country's sentiment, or remain loyal to his personal connection with Putin. Siegel, however, appeared unfazed by the political storm brewing around him. In a move that stunned critics and supporters alike, he chose to celebrate his birthday in Moscow, an event that prominently featured many pro-Putin attendees. This act, perceived by many as an overt show of support for Russia amidst its controversial actions, added fuel to the growing discontent surrounding Siegel's public image. His decision to remain aligned with Putin during such a volatile period underscored his willingness to stand by his personal affiliations, regardless of the widespread backlash. Despite this polarizing behavior, there remains a curious chapter in Siegel's life that paints him in a somewhat redeeming light. In 2003, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, recognized him with a humanitarian award. The organization honored him for his efforts to combat animal cruelty, specifically highlighting letters he had written to Thai officials, urging them to end the abuse of baby elephants. While this advocacy showcased a compassionate side of Siegel, it also brought up an uncomfortable contrast. If he had demonstrated this level of care and effort for the well-being of animals, Why couldn't he extend the same empathy and respect toward his fellow human beings? This dichotomy remains one of the most perplexing aspects of Seagal's controversial legacy. Steven Seagal's life is a whirlwind of fame, controversy, and contradiction. From the dojo to the silver screen, from Hollywood star to a divisive public figure, his story leaves us with questions that may never be fully answered. What do you think? Is he a misunderstood legend or a man whose actions speak louder than his films? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell for more deep dives into the lives of fascinating figures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.